Hey Ubers, Vivian here with a quick tutorial to share with you. My niece, my lovely niece, is coming to visit me for almost 2 weeks. She's coming this weekend, and I thought I'd make her a little mini album, a little girly mini album, so she can document the trip. I'm featuring today a Sizzix scoreboards die, which I'm sending through the machine right now with a piece of chipboard. It's by Eileen Hull, and it's number 658982. It's called Album, Mini. I think if you're a mini album person and you want to be able to rattle out those covers quickly, this is a great one. It's almost a square. And here's the little fastener that you can put on the edge. If you want to adhere cardstock or pattern paper, I'd suggest that you do that before you send it through the die cutting machine, and then you'll have it done lickety-split. I want to emboss some patterns in mine first before I adhere to my chipboard. So I'm going to use this 2 embossing folder set from Eileen Hull. Isn't this one fantastic? The first one is very cute polka dots, and this one's also very elegant. I love this one in particular. And this is from Eileen Hull at Sizzix, and it's called Polka Dots and Star Flowers Set, number 658990. So I'm pretty much strictly sticking monochromatic with my project today. This is a single color of Coordination's Color Core cardstock from the Core Essentials, and it's called Concerto, and it's a soft, muted pink. And I'm going to play around with creating a lot of interest and texture simply with this one color, and I'll show you as we go along how I accomplish that. One way is, as I'm doing here, by sanding off the top layer to reveal the embossed patterns. So this is one reason I really love Coordination's cardstock. It's never white core, it's always color core. And here you can see with the Core Essentials, it's a few tints lighter than your hue on the top surface of the paper, and you're able to reveal these beautiful textures from the Sizzix embossing folders just by sanding. I've been having a lot of fun lately sticking with a monochromatic or an ombre palette and ending up with projects that are very soft and comforting and filled with texture. And because I stick with a monochromatic palette, I think the eye is very much drawn more so to the textures that are created through the use of embossing folders. So I'm going to keep that torn edge, just very minimally adhere the two pieces together, and then trace the cover, as you can see here, and cut it out, and then decoupage it to my chipboard cover. I'm also going to do a little bit of stitching, just a sort of, I'm going to use a straight stitch and intentionally make it somewhat crooked, and go all along the edges as well as along the torn edge. Just for a little bit of extra interest, I played around with variations in stitch, going from the straight stitch to the zigzag stitch. A little quick tip, I don't know if I've shared this with you guys before. When I adhered those two pieces of cardstock together, I really used very bare minimum of adhesive. A little snail trail in the center of each piece so that my sewing needle wouldn't get globbed up with adhesive. At this point, I decoupaged all the pieces to my chipboard cover, and I used a product called Collagepage Matte by Tracy Bautista. I picked this up at a workshop at the recent Mega Show, CHA Mega Show, and I really like it. It gives you a little bit more wiggle time in terms of moving your piece around before it's permanently adhered to your project. And it dries very matte. Like, even though I was kind of messy about it and I got a little bit of the adhesive on this top surface of my cardstock, you really couldn't see it. It was pretty much invisible, whereas with some other matte decoupage products, you can still see a little bit of a sheen. This is another die I'm using from Sizzix. It's part of their collections that they make with Prima. It's Big's die number 658531, and it's called Memphis. I love it. It has 3 different blooms that you can layer on top of one another. I'm using the same concerto color from Coordinations. I'm trying to keep the whole thing as monochromatic as I possibly can. What makes me so excited about this die is the irregular edge. So can you see all of those beautiful notches and the varied shape? It's not perfect at all. Very roughly like a poppy. So you get all of that in one pass through your die cut machine. It's one of my favorite blossoms that's come out in the last year or so. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. It's 3 die cuts in one big die. So I'm sanding it, and it's bringing out all of those cut lines. And it's also bringing out the irregular petal edges. So I'm using the 2 smaller blossoms that come from this die cut. And I want to share with you another product that I've been using recently quite a bit. I've had it, I just haven't been using it. I'm going to curl these edges a little bit with a bone folder. So this is called Crackle Accents from Ranger, and it's like Glossy Accents. It adds a gloss, but this one, in addition to the gloss, creates a crackle. So the only thing is, once you apply it, you have to have the patience to wait for it to completely dry, and then you have this beautiful crackle texture. I've been using it quite a bit lately, especially on my blossoms. So here you can see it wet. I didn't do the center of the larger piece because it's just going to be covered up with the smaller piece. Here you can see it dry with all that crackle accent. I also put some dots of pearls in the center of my blossom. Here you can see a detail of some leaves that I die cut. These are cut from a vintage Sizzix die and embossing folder set, number 658802. It was called Dancing Leaves, and you guys should check that one out. The 3 little embossing folders are really gorgeous. Each folder has 3 different and equally beautiful leaf patterns, and it also comes with 2 thinlit dies in a nice variety of leaf shapes. So this was one of the leaf shapes. And here I'm going to pan out, and you can see a close-up of the pretty dry embossing that we did with the Eileen Hull embossing folders and some of the stitching using the sewing machine. And as for the clasp, I just hot glued a white button on there, a pearlized button, and put a little dot of pearl pen there as well. I hope you enjoyed my video today and that you were hopefully inspired to play around with texture variations in texture in this project created through the use of dry embossing, sanding, stitching, and the use of some interesting product like Crackle Accent. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.